China tensions dominate Taiwan election with global implications. U.S. plans to send unofficial delegation to Taiwan to meet new leader. UN helicopter captured by Al-Shabaab. Spiritual leader known as Buddha Boy, arrested in Nepal. Riots in Papua New Guinea's two biggest cities. South Korea passes bill to ban eating dog meat.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It's Friday, January 12th, and here are your top stories. When Taiwanese voters pick a new president Saturday, their ballot will represent another choice of global significance. Forging closer ties with China, we're defending the island's autonomy with Washington's backing. The closely fought three-way contest to succeed President Tsai Ing-wen, who is stepping down due to term limits, marks the world's first major test of democracy in 2024. This year, we'll see the governments of more than 3 billion people face some 40 elections. Tsai's Democratic Progressive Party, reviled by China but friendly with the U.S., faces the opposition Kuomintang and the more recently formed Taiwan People's Party. Both the latter favor closer ties with China, which claims Taiwan as its territory.
A peaceful, uncontested election would bode well for Taiwan. Polling stations open from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., and history shows the result may be clear by around 8 p.m. Whoever wins the most votes, even if they fall short of an outright majority, is elected. Challenges are possible if the margin is narrow, as happened in 2004. First-time voters, those aged 20 to 24, account for just 5% of the voting age population. Voters also have ballots to choose a lawmaker in their local constituencies and a political party, which will help determine who wins the 113-seat legislature. Currently, the ruling DPP has 62 seats, the KMT has 37 and the TPP has 5.
The Biden administration will send an unofficial delegation comprised of former senior officials to Taiwan shortly after the self-governed island holds an election for a new president this weekend, a move that could upset Beijing in an already fragile bilateral relationship. A senior administration official confirmed the plan on Wednesday without offering more details, but said such a face-to-face meeting was the most effective way to engage the new Taiwanese government and convey U.S. policy in the region. The official briefing reporters on condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive plans said the administration believed the move would contribute to peace and stability in the region.
Beijing, which claims that Taiwan is part of China and vows to unify with it eventually, said Thursday that it firmly opposes any official exchange between the U.S. and Taiwan. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning didn't say whether China regards the planned delegation as a form of official exchange. In August 2022, Beijing reacted angrily by firing missiles and blockading the island after then U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi visited Taiwan. Chinese President Xi Jinping, at his most recent meeting with President Joe Biden in November, called Taiwan the most sensitive issue in U.S.-Chinese relations.
Somalia's government is working to rescue the passengers of a United Nations helicopter that was captured by Al-Shabaab fighters, carrying 2 Somali men and several foreigners when it made an emergency landing in an area controlled by the Islamist group. Military officers said it would be difficult to access the area where they were taken. The helicopter took off from the city of Beledweyne and landed close to Gadoon village in the Galadun region due to a technical glitch. The United Nations assistance mission in Somalia later confirmed there had been an incident involving a UN-controlled helicopter that was conducting an air medical evaluation. It said it was gathering information about what happened and response efforts were underway.
According to the memo, there were 9 passengers on the plane, including military personnel and a third-party contractor. At least 6 of the passengers were reportedly seized by Al-Shabaab. Colonel Abdullahi Is, who is based in the town of Adado, about 100 kilometers north of Hindhir, told Reuters that troops in the area had no plans to launch a rescue mission. No forces have gone to rescue them. I don't believe they will escape, he said. The area has been controlled by Al-Shabaab for over 10 years, and even the residents there are pro-Al-Shabaab. In a brief statement on Wednesday, the UN said response efforts were underway. The UN World Food Programme, WFP, the largest humanitarian operator in Somalia, also said the helicopter did not belong to it or the UN Humanitarian Air Service and that none of its personnel was on board.
According to local police, a controversial spiritual leader whose supporters believe he is the reincarnation of Buddha has been arrested in Nepal over sexual abuse charges. Ram Badoar Banjan, popularly called Buddha Boy in local media, was arrested Tuesday evening while absconding in the case of sexual exploitation of a minor, the police said in a statement. An arrest warrant against him was issued in 2020, according to the statement, in the case of sexual abuse of a minor girl, who was allegedly living as a nun at his ashram in the Bara district, south of the capital Kathmandu. Acting on a tip-off, police say they tracked the 34-year-old to the outskirts of Kathmandu and arrested him while he was trying to flee. They also seized more than a dozen mobile phones, 5 laptops and tablets, and more than $200,000 in Nepali and foreign currencies at his home.
Ram Bahadur Bamyan is believed by many Nepalese to be the reincarnation of Siddhartha Gautama, who was born in southwestern Nepal some 2,600 years ago. Buddhist scholars have been skeptical of Bamyan's claims. This comes nearly 2 decades after he first gained international attention. In 2005, at the age of 15, he retreated into the jungle to pray for 10 months. His followers once claimed that did so without food, sleep or water. Those claims were never independently verified, but it led some to laud him as the reincarnation of Siddhartha Gautama, and later became known simply as Buddha, meaning enlightened one. Bamyan's Buddha Boy moniker helped to further his fame, as thousands from across the country and neighboring India traveled to see him while he was in the jungle.
The Papua New Guinea government worked to restore order Thursday after at least 15 people were reportedly killed during rioting and looting that left the country's 2 biggest cities in flames. The unrest began in the capital, Port Moresby, on Wednesday after hundreds of police officers, soldiers, prison staff, and public servants walked off their jobs in protest over a pay dispute. The Papua New Guinea government attributed the pay cut to an administrative glitch. Similar riots also caused damage in Lae, the second biggest city in the southwestern Pacific country. Tensions in the country have risen amid high unemployment and increased living costs.
Papua New Guinea Prime Minister James Marape said Port Moresby was under stress and duress, but that violence had eased. Marape said in a news conference on Thursday, "Police were not at work yesterday in the city and people resorted to lawlessness, not all people, but in certain segments of our city. Many shops and banking services were closed Thursday as business owners repaired damage." Papua New Guinea is a diverse, developing nation of mostly subsistence farmers where some 800 languages are spoken. It is in a strategically important part of the South Pacific. With 10 million people, it the most populous South Pacific nation after Australia, which is home to 26 million.
South Korea's parliament passed a bill Tuesday banning the breeding and slaughter of dogs for consumption, ending the traditional yet controversial practice of eating dog meat after years of nationwide debates. The bill received very bipartisan support across South Korea's divided political landscape, highlighting how attitudes toward eating dogs have transformed over the past few decades during the country's rapid industrialization. According to the corresponding committee of the National Assembly, the law will ban the distribution and sale of food products made or processed with dog ingredients. However, customers who consume dog meat or related products will not be subject to punishment, meaning the law would largely target those working in the industry, such as dog farmers or sailors.
Under the bill, anybody slaughtering a dog for food can be punished by up to 3 years in prison or fined up to 30 million Korean won, about $23,000. Anyone who breeds dogs for eating, or who knowingly acquires, transports, stores or sells food made from dogs, also faces a lower fine and prison time. Like parts of Vietnam and southern China, South Korea has a history of consuming dog meat. It was traditionally viewed in South Korea as a food that could help people beat the heat during the summer, and was also a cheap and readily available source of protein at a time when poverty rates were far higher. But the practice has also come under criticism in recent decades, with animal rights activists at the forefront.
The answer for yesterday was A, scant. The firefighters went back into the house with scant regard for their own safety. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into the news of spiritual leader known as Buddha Boy arrested in Nepal. Number 1, exploitation. 剥削榨取. I think their crime is a blacker one than mere exploitation. Number 2, alleged. 声称的、被断言的、涉嫌的. They have begun a hunger strike in protest at the alleged beating. Number 3, abscond. 从监狱等处逃走，吸款潜逃. He was ordered to appear the following day but absconded. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comment section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. And that's all for today's Funday News. Be sure to tune in to Funday News from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.